How's it, guys? So, yeah, same day for me, but this is day 12. I'm just trying to make these videos on batches now because of time constraints. But day 12 of our lead generation initiative of 21, obviously. So I want to encourage you to go back, start from the scratch at day 1 and work your way up because it's all curated. We've discussed a lot of things, and yesterday we talked about the emotional decision-making process, which is really interesting. And obviously we're talking about marketing automation. So we said the last thing you want to do is just follow up with someone and ask them if they got the mail. You need to find a different angle into the conversation again to create that opportunity. So emotional perspective would obviously be great. Today we're going to talk about that logical perspective. Right. So it's important that you follow up with these leads and nurture them. And it's important that it's all automated because you're not going to have time to do it manually. Right. So from my perspective is that a lot of times people say, just a side note, a lot of times people say, oh no, Yandre, but I don't want to email these people like so often because I'm scared that I frustrate them and annoy them. So we generate about 120 mails a day of people downloading our, lead magnets. And essentially, if we get one person every 3 days that says, hey, please remove me, stop emailing me, then I usually email them back. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. You signed up for this. Did you get the ebook? How's it going? And then 9 out of 10 times they didn't know what they were signing up for. Or they just at a point where they're like, no, thank you, I got it. I'm happy. I just don't want to receive any more communication from you. And I'm like, cool, no problem. Because out of 120 people a day, that's 360 people. That's one person, right? That's like, what, 0.35 what percent? That's quick math, I think. Is that right? Anyway, so 0.3%, right? So why must I now care about that one person who wasn't even upset, by the way, really? Must I really stop my thinking there, my initiative there, and change my thinking because of the fact that one person complained over 3 days and sacrificed the opportunity to follow up with 359 other people that I could potentially do business with? I mean, if 1% converts, that's 3 odd clients, right? So in essence, we need to put things in perspective for ourselves. And if you really do, then you'll notice that marketing automation is the way because it's all a numbers game. So with that said, that is a classic example of logical explanation. Okay. And this brings me obviously now to the logical side of things, is where I'm going to use an example that we have. Like, we offer marketing automation as a service. So what happens is that if we would have to appeal to the emotional side of the business owner, we would say you can free up time so that you can spend weekends with your kids. You don't have to stress about outdated mails. You don't have to stress about whether someone has followed up with the leads or not, because there is a system taking care of that, and you will be notified when someone is interested, so you can sleep peacefully knowing that the job is done. That's just a simple example of taking the business owner on an emotional ride. Not an emotional roller coaster, just a journey where they can get a picture of how they would feel. And then you get the logical side where we actually then start doing the numbers and the math with this person. So if they didn't really give that mail any attention, there would be a mail 2 days later or 3 days later where we then explain the benefit of this product or service more on a logical aspect. So from a logical perspective. So we would say, do you know that you're actually costing your business money? Do you actually know that you're losing money? And I mean, that's a classic example, because if you are a business owner who's doing, roughly, I would say, a small business between 2 million a year and up, right? There's a cost attached to, there's always a cost attached, but once you start doing 2 million and more, there's a serious cost attached to your time. So if you're going to spend time manually emailing people, or if you're going to have a salesperson manually emailing people, you're just costing your company money, because you could be a lot more efficient. Right? That person can be a lot more efficient for your business. So that's where we then do the logical math. So we say, if the salary is X, the amount of time per day you have, this is your cost per hour. So if you're not going to mail people manually, you're costing your company this much. And you need to really focus your time and efforts on something that's going to move the needle. So rather focus on tax benefits and doing your taxes and VAT and all the stuff that you can actually claim back, and make sure that you do it right, because that's an extra 10-20 grand that you can save a month, or whatever. And make sure that you're hiring the right people, make sure that you're focusing on the growth of the business. Don't sit and write cold emails or warm, like follow-up emails, right? So in essence, that becomes a logical thing, because now you can show them that they're actually costing the business money. You can show them that they can make 2 or 3 times more money, because there's a system that can reach more people more efficiently, right? And essentially, it is a numbers game, so you're going to have more people convert at the end of the day, the more people you reach out to. So once you then break down that math, it becomes a logical decision. And that's, where they can see, damn, I'm actually costing my business money, and essentially, I can actually make more money if I take the next step. So that's a classic example now. If, a 3 email sequence where you've sent them the lead magnet, maybe with, you've sent them the ebook, maybe with an offer attached to it, they weren't interested or they didn't understand. Then there's a mail 2 days later talking about the emotional perspective. Then 2 days later, there's an email talking about the logical perspective. And essentially, that's just a classic 3 email follow-up, like a 3 email sequence. You can obviously do another sequence where you would follow up with someone, where you can just break it down into frequently asked questions, testimonials. So there's so many things you can go into: credibility, proof, trust, so many other stuff, or just more value. So it's stuff that you're going to have to test. But essentially, don't stop nurturing the people in your database just because of the fact that one person might complain over 3 days. And essentially, as long as the emails are not spammy, as long as there's always a unique angle to the conversation that can spark that opportunity, right? And essentially, it's also, if there's always a piece of value attached, then people are not going to feel like they're getting spammed. So this is really crucial to lead generation, and I wanted to share that with you. So we talked about the emotional and logical side. Further in this initiative, we want to talk about the actual funnels, how to actually go about setting it up, what tools we use, so I hope you're going to find value in it. If you find it interesting, leave me a comment. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment. All the best, and have a wonderful day.